Welcome to CodeRunner, a browser game with a powerful embedded JavaScript interpreter designed to introduce students to the world of programming. CodeRunner places the player in a dramatic 3D environment. Players must overcome increasingly difficult challenges with inventive and creating programming solutions written by the player in JavaScript and interpreted in real time. Although not a conventional programming course, the learning is built around a solid JavaScript syllabus, and the game has been designed and developed by industry experts. Ultimately, the goal of CodeRunner is to enable the player to visualize the execution of their code. This allows them to see the shape of an algorithm, facilitating understanding on a deeper level. The player is constantly manipulating the environment, and in doing so learns through experience about the fundamental principles of programming in an exciting and immersive way. CodeRunner is also intended to be a powerful teaching tool in and beyond the computer science classroom. The player's first experience of JavaScript comes in the shape of variables. As in most games, there is an inventory. In CodeRunner, Axia's inventory consists of 3 variables, x, y, and z, and the inventory is manipulated by code. By manipulating the values of these variables, Axia is able to unlock doors and progress through the different levels of the game. In this code editor view, Axia can see that in order to open a door, x must equal 2. By running over these pickups, Axia has matched the value of her x variable so that the door ahead opens and lets her through. Using this metaphor, the player is given early exposure to both variables and conditionals. As the game progresses, we introduce increasingly complex mathematical and logical concepts. The code editor is the integrated development environment of the game. From here, the user can create the code necessary to manipulate the ship's surroundings. The player also uses this view to create a plan of how to approach the level, which turns to take and which doors to open. The player selects programmable objects called waypoints in the map overview and then types code into that object. This code is then fed into the ship's main computer and executed when the player triggers the object on passing through the waypoint.
If you have written your function correctly, it should open this door. See you on the other side. You made it. Well done. One more thing. To get information out of
The console output allows the player to communicate with themselves. Here we have declared a variable called text, assigned it the string value hello, and using the print command, instructed it to display on the console output. Here we're using 3D signposts to assist the player and demonstrate the reading of strings using the ship's voice.
testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
In CodeRunner, there are a number of predefined JavaScript functions which can be called by the player in the code editor. For example, open door, activate crusher, and activate laser grid. The player can also write their own functions. For example, here in the Fibonacci level, the player could define a function called console output for which they would supply a string. That function calls the print and speak functions, giving us a spoken and textual output of that string. Players need only create these functions once, and they become available everywhere in the game. We've implemented many game mechanics in CodeRunner that provide a perfect environment for logical thinking. Its labyrinthine corridors and array of traps constantly challenge the player to use conditionals. For example, at certain points in the game, monsters can be spawned randomly. This forces the player to consider, if the monster is on right, turn left, else turn right. Where a player has failed in their logic, Axia dies. In higher levels, CodeRunner explores more advanced coding. Level 8, for example, introduces loops, where a circular corridor is a neat visual representation of the concept. When Axia enters the corridor, both doors are closed and there is no escape. From here, the player must satisfy the condition to open the door and exit the loop. As we can see, Axia has to traverse the loop twice before the condition is met and the door is open for her to escape. CodeRunner is infinitely extendable. Players and teachers will be able to design, build, and share levels with each other. As can be seen here, there is a range of assets and mechanics to make this a creative process that is fun and engaging. In the future, as CodeRunner evolves, teachers will be able to use the game to teach students about concepts such as recursion, switch statements, and objects. CodeRunner provides the perfect environment for learning through creative collaboration and problem solving.